So how do you believe the universe came to be?
Tough question. I do believe the story in the Bible, in creation. However, I was taught in Catholic schools that 7 days to us is not necessarily 7 days to God. So the whole theory of evolution, actually, that has been scientifically studied, that actually could have happened, because nobody knows. I mean, we assume that God took exactly 7 days, but God could have taken thousands and millions of years to create the earth. So I guess I believe in a combination of evolution and creation.
Okay, so what did that lead you to believe about, like, right and wrong? Like, would you believe, I don't know, how does that make you think about it?
Okay, my ideas about evolution and creation probably don't have a whole lot to do with what I believe about right and wrong. What I believe about right and wrong, I was taught from my parents and in schools, priests, nuns. That's where my belief in right and wrong, or my ideas of right and wrong come from.
Okay, so since you believe in God, do you believe in heaven and hell?
I do.
And you believe people go to heaven and hell?
I do.
Okay.
I'm not exactly sure what forms heaven and hell take. I don't know that I believe in a place down below that's got tons of fire and, breathing dragons and all of that as hell. But I do believe that there is a heaven and a hell of some sort.
Why do you think that God invented
hell? I think that sometimes I know that sometimes people reject God. And if people reject God, I think, although God is all forgiving, he or she, if you're totally rejecting God, then perhaps there's another place where you go. Those who believe in God would go to heaven. Those who don't and completely reject God go to hell, whatever form hell takes.
Okay.
How do you believe the universe was created?
I think that there was a Big Bang, so...
What is your opinion about the Big Bang?
I think that science. I believe in science. Like, I don't think that God made Adam and Eve and stuff like that, if that's what you're asking.
It's like two things in the blank universe came to be. It just created everything we have, so then evolution came to be.
Yeah. I mean, there could be a God behind, like, the whole evolution thing, but there wasn't just all of a sudden people and birds and stuff, so.
Mm-hmm. So do you believe in the hell and heaven?
No.
So what would be your opinion on how it was created then? If you don't believe in it, then what is your opinion that it is?
What the world is?
Like what is your opinion on what hell and the heaven is?
I think it's something that people made up in their minds to make them feel better about what happens after death, and the fact that existence is pretty much pointless.
So like after we die, we're just put in the ground and that's over?
Yeah.
Just buried?
So how do you believe we kind of like know what's right and wrong, or the morals?
I honestly think that religion is sort of like, it's a guidance for people, and a lot of people need that to like know what's right and wrong. But I mean, so like that plays a huge role in what we think. Like, we think that murdering a person is wrong, and in the Bible it says that's wrong, and like we would think that because we love people. But like who our parents are and who we are, and every idea that ever comes in contact with us pretty much makes us think what's right.
Okay, well that's all of our questions. Okay, so get started. How do you believe the universe was created?
do I believe? I guess I don't really know. So I guess I probably don't worry about it too much.
What are your opinions on right and wrong?
Right and wrong. You have to determine that internally. So it's not what the state tells you, it's what you believe is right and wrong.
So everybody has like their own beliefs.
Has their own structures of what they think ultimately is right and wrong.
Where do you think the people get their foundations of the right and wrong? Like scriptures, Bible?
You know, yeah, but you know, I probably don't believe in the Bible the same way you might.
Would you elaborate on that?
You know, it's a historical document, but it's basically created by a convention where they voted for certain documents to be in and certain documents to be out. And so it was not, and so it sort of fit with the given tendencies of the day, and it fit with the people that were in charge. So I think there's lots of very valuable religious documents, and I don't know if one is more valuable than the other. So, so whether it's the Quran or the Bible or the Bhagavad Gita or anything else, I think they all have real value to add to what people believe. So ultimately you have to think about it, make those decisions internally.
Do you believe that there's heaven and hell, and that we will either go to one of them?
You know, I don't know. I guess I haven't been to either one of them, so you know, I really don't know. Probably not that concerned about it. You know, it seems like you should live what you think is right, not necessarily because you're going to be punished or rewarded. So.
But do you think that God would put us in hell, like He would actually make us go down there?
You know, I don't believe there's really, you know, probably not. You know, I don't think there's a mean, hateful God. So, no, I probably don't believe in that.
And what you told us before that you were a Quaker, would you explain what?
Well, I used to go to Quaker meetings, and a related group are the Mennonites. Now I attend a Mennonite church. And so, both of them are considered a form of religion called Radical Anabaptist. And so they and the Church of the Brethren and the Mennonites, Quakers, the Church of the Brethren are all the peace churches. So we're all pacifists. They're the only three churches that are truly sort of pacifist.
What is the difference between that church and like any other church?
Well, we think that the other churches have all built in lots of other sort of structures and activities that are more reflecting society than is really religion. So we tend to have very simple. So Quakers technically don't even have ministers. It's all, they basically do it all internally, and even with Mennonites, it's basically a membership run group. Although we do have ministers, but like they're all part-time. Nobody would ever be a full-time minister.
So it's somebody different each time?
Yep. Lots and lots. And so it's sort of membership run, and we're all pacifists.
Would you explain what a pacifist is?
We don't believe in fighting in wars, and so we don't belong to the military. Conscientious objectors.
Do you think the world would be a better place if everybody was a pacifist?
Oh, would they be better? Yeah, I think they probably would be.
Wouldn't the world be better if nobody wanted to fight or
Yeah,
kill?
I think it would be. But again, every person has to make their own decision. So, I think it would be a better place. So, what else?
Would you say there is a God?
Yes, I believe there is a God. You know, I think there definitely is a God.
What does He do in your life?
What does He do in my life? Wow. Yeah, you know, I guess I pray a lot, you know, read lots of religious documents. You know, I think I don't know that it's like the mechanisms of a clock where He's constantly involved in every little detail of my life. You know, I think, you know, that's there is human choice and activities, but there is a God. So big things, he's around, but it's not like a workings of a clock where he makes every decision about every little thing that occurs to every little person in the world. Because it obviously can't be, because then, why bad people do bad things and they still get away with it, and they still do bad things.
What are your opinions about right and wrong?
There is a right, there is a wrong. What are you looking for?
Like, how do you believe, or what do you go by for right and wrong? Like, do you believe everything?
I think it's internal. I just don't think the state can decide it. 'Cause I don't think the state's a government. Government is just, it has its own political purposes. It exists for its own reasons. And it's not deciding what's right and wrong. Right and wrong comes internally. And when you disagree with the state, you have to object to it. You have to oppose it, in a peaceful way. But the state doesn't have the right to decide what's right and wrong. It doesn't have the right to take another person's life. It doesn't have the right to kill people in a capital punishment. I mean, again, I think it's an absolute moral wrong. The state's deciding that it is God and making the rights of who to die and who to live. That's just not the state's. The state has no right to do that. So, but again, that's the state's making its judgment based on popular. Because people want to see people killed in the United States, and Texas leads in the capital punishment. And so that's clearly a wrong, and so I could never be associated with that. So.
Do you think God has given us what right and wrong is in the Bible, or do you think
but again,
it
I don't
changes?
think it's just the Bible. I think that it always changed. I mean, the Bible is a human document. It was decided by a group of bishops getting together and voting. And so they left lots of stuff out. They put other stuff in. It's translated by a group of human beings, and the translation is not necessarily all that accurate. And it's a very human sort of human activity. There is no evidence that Jesus said hate homosexuals, but people tend to use the Bible to sort of go out and beat homosexuals over the head and shoulders and justify it, to discriminate against them. So, it's a human document. It's maybe inspired, but it's no more inspired than lots of other documents.
So you do not go by the Bible?
Well, I go by the Bible, but I go by lots of other things too. So, but I find most Christians have never even read the Bible. I mean, they all have, they pick one little quote